I met Claire on a train that was 20 minutes late and somehow right on time for both of us. I was heading home from my brother's wedding, tie undone, head full of champagne and the quiet regret of a toast I wished I'd given. She was reading a book upside down, not on purpose, just deeply, wonderfully distracted by the world outside her window. We started talking after she dropped her pen, and by the third stop, it felt like we'd known each other for years. The conversation flowed effortlessly, a river finding its old familiar bed, carrying stories of our families, our fears, and the small, silly dreams we were almost too embarrassed to share. She told me she'd just left her job, her voice a mix of terror and exhilaration. "I'm starting over," she said, staring out at the blurring landscape. "Before life decides for me." I figured a moving train was as good a place as any to begin. When the train screeched into my station, a cold dread washed over me. I didn't want this bubble to pop. I frantically searched for something to write on, finally grabbing a stained napkin from my pocket and scribbled with a borrowed pen, "If we ever meet again, it'll be because we're both ready." She smiled, a slow, understanding curve of her lips, took the napkin and tucked it carefully into her book, marking her page. "Then don't rush," she said softly. "Good things take the long way around." We didn't exchange numbers. It felt too modern, too final, for something that felt so old-fashioned and fragile, like a seed that needed silence and darkness to germinate. Years passed. I moved cities, fell in love in a way that felt permanent until it wasn't, fell apart, worked jobs that drained me, and others that rebuilt me piece by piece. But sometimes, on a crowded subway or in the hush of a library, I'd think of that napkin of the promise I hadn't known I'd made to myself to become someone worthy of a chance encounter. Then, last spring, I was in a cafe in another town, halfway across the country. The smell of roasted beans and steamed milk, a universal comfort. The barista called out, "Order for Claire," and my whole body went still. It couldn't be. But it was. She turned from the counter, same smile, older, wiser eyes that had seen their own share of life. I laughed, a disbelieving burst of sound. Oops, and she laughed, a mirror of my shock, and then she pulled something from her purse, the napkin, folded 100 times over, yellowed at the edges, but the words still perfectly legible. "I kept it," she said, her voice steady, "just in case the universe decided to be poetic." We sat for hours, trading the stories of our lost years like precious currency. It turned out both of us had needed those years apart to stumble, to learn, to become the people who could meet again in a cafe without any need to rush. When I walked her to her door under a canopy of blooming trees, she handed me the napkin back. "Your turn to keep it," she said. "Promises don't expire, but they change hands. It's a reminder for you now." It's still in my wallet now, next to my ID, a soft paper square against the stiff plastic. Sometimes I take it out, unfold it carefully, and remind myself that timing isn't about luck. It's about the slow, patient work of becoming someone worth waiting for, and recognizing that same journey in another. Some promises aren't meant to be kept right away. They're meant to wait until the people making them finally understand why they made them.